Ever feel like you're doing this teaching thing alone? You don't have to be. Shared teaching is all about sharing the workload through the power of collaboration and teamwork. Together, we'll walk through all the difficult parts of teaching and learn how to streamline our processes, fine-tune our time management, and develop a more manageable workload. If that sounds like a dream come true to you, then welcome to the Shared Teaching Podcast. Let's share in the teaching to make those dreams a reality. Now here's today's Shared Teaching. Hello and welcome back to another Shared Teaching Podcast episode. I'm your host, Susan, and this is the fifth in our weekly Wednesday writing episode. So today's Wednesday writing tip is that students should sound it out. We're going to talk about sounding out words. Now, when it comes to writing with our younger learners, we want to make sure we are giving them the tools they need to succeed. If I had a quarter for every time I heard, "How do you spell?" I would be able to have like an extended stay on my own private island, because it is so often in primary grades, especially first and second grade, right? They're still learning, they're still not quite sure, and they want to be correct. So they're always asking, how do I spell? Well, it can be tempting to tell your students how to spell the word when they ask, but resist and teach them how to figure it out on their own. It'll be better for you in the long run and for your sanity. So one of my favorite ways to teach students to sound it out is to show them how to count words or sounds first. So teaching them several options for sounding out words means your students are going to pick the one that works best for them during independent writing. So let's say a student wants to write the word macaroni, but doesn't know how. So first they're going to stretch it out into the sounds they hear. Now, I have two different ways I can stretch out. I can stretch out across my fingers, R-O-N-E, right? Or, I know you can't see me, I'm going to stretch out my hands like rubber bands and count out the sounds that way. I can also stretch across my arm, which I believe is like an Orton-Gillingham method. And so we're just having some kind of tactile sensation for how we're counting and stretching out those sounds. So now with every sound that they hear that they're saying, they're going to either choose to maybe draw a short line on their paper to represent the sounds, or again, they're going to count those sounds on their fingers. So in the case of macaroni, hopefully they're going to count out 8 sounds, either in little lines on their paper, and the line is just big enough to write a letter on, or across their fingers. So then they're going to write a letter on each line as they sound it out again. So you want to sound it out the first time, listen and count, and then you're going to sound it out while you're writing the letters down. I love using this method of making the lines because it helps them not miss any letters when they're writing their tricky words. I also make a really big emphasis during phonics time that all words have to have some kind of vowel or a letter like Y that's substituting as a vowel, so they know that that's a way to check their spelling. Also during phonics time, I'm going to ensure my students are consistently practicing sounding out words in a similar way that I'm teaching them in writing so they can connect phonics with their writing skills. So I hope you enjoyed today's Wednesday writing tip. Please come back next week for an all new one, and also tune in on Friday for a full-length podcast episode. Bye for now. If you've loved this show, then join me in sharing the teaching,
hitting that subscribe button,
and leaving us a review on
iTunes,
so we can be found by more teachers like you who are ready to start sharing the workload. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Find new episodes each week on sharedteaching.com. Thanks for listening to the Shared Teaching Podcast.